Hello, how's everybody going? I need one of those, a 5x5, just to make sure that the audio and visual is coming out well enough. It'd be nice. I'm paying extra for 1080p, so high definition, so it should be good. Oh, brilliant. That was quick. Big dog. Rachel, hi, darling. Awesome. Right. Okay. So it's working. Brilliant. What we need to do is we need to just be patient a little bit. To make sure the notifications go out. So if you're watching this on the replay, we always do this because we've got a cool community. It's global, and the notifications take a while to go out. And wait for everyone to jump onto the stream. So what we're going to do, just briefly, is we want to figure out, whilst we wait for everyone to jump on board, whereabouts you guys are watching from. Could be anywhere. Like I said, global. It's not just here in Great Britain, here in the UK. You guys are from all over the place. Here we go. We got Edmund. Here we go. Straight away. He's watching live from New Zealand. G'day, mate. Fantastic. So, yeah, we got a global audience. And today we're going to be talking about travel lockdowns. Now, this is all part of the agenda, and I'm going to show you on the screen. It's very, very, very interesting, actually. So, yeah, we got some stuff to update you guys. Lots of you Funky Prepper veterans would already be in the loop, already know what's going down. The stuff we've been talking about for years. Now, it's actually really genuinely starting to happen. We're talking about the Great Reset, okay? So, Raf, hi, dude. Good to see you, man. Awesome. Yeah, listen in, dude, because this is going to affect travel. Let me see if I can adjust that. Right, here we go. Brill. Paul Bakima, my bro. Oh, I love you, man. I ain't seen you for ages. 4,600 miles away from Funky HQ, near Vancouver in Canada. Bloody awesome. So we got over 200 people here already. So I'll tell you what we could do, because this is topical, because this is relevant. What would be really good to analyze is just how much. Let me just cancel that one. Boom. The fuel prices at the pumps. My mate Mark Ninja Man, he sent me a little video the other day on WhatsApp, and bloody hell, prices are going nuts. I can only know from where I live. So obviously I don't travel around the country every day, so I've got no idea. So I'd be really, really interested to know what you guys are seeing with your own eyes when you're out and about, because every now and again we're all going to need to put fuel in our vehicles, aren't we? So and I would assume, excuse me, rightly or wrongly, that because the prices are going up globally, that we're not going to forget how much roughly we paid. So how much did you guys pay for your petrol and diesel? I've got a banner scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So it'd be really cool to get you guys feedback on that. Right, here we go. Paul Bakima is paying $2.15 Canadian dollars per litre. Wow. Bloody hell, man. $2 for 1 litre. We've got Kev, diesel 168. That was Friday. Cowboy 85 octane Wyoming, $4 a gallon. Are you serious? Wow, holy cow bags, that's crazy. Claire is paying $1.95 for diesel. Slave to no man, sorry, 165 diesel. We gotta love our dyslexic community. All right, John, that's awesome. That's hilarious. Over £2 for diesel in Germany. Wow, that's RAF, and it's just under 170 in Pembrokeshire. Thanks, RAF, for that, mate. That's cool. North Wales is 180 for diesel. Bloody hell. Oh my goodness. 144 unleaded. Oh, that's petrol. Bloody hell. Do some people use petrol out there? It looks like, yeah. Blimey. Look at that. Oh my God. This is in Cali. $5.90 for 1 gallon. 91, that's just unleaded basically. Struth. That's nuts. That's the highest price I've seen. Wow. Thanks, Raf. Spain, 10%. Wow. I think our government should give the old duty a kick up the arse as well. It's horrendous what they're getting away with. Right. Wow. Look at this. We've got 300 people already. So let's get into it, shall we? I'm just going to change that banner because otherwise people are just going to be bombing the chat with fuel prices. So yeah, if you can support, all the links are below. I'd really appreciate that. So let me see. We got a lot to unpack. So basically, what we are seeing already in, I don't know if any of you guys have heard, in Slovenia, they are already rationing fuel right now. That's the first EU state to actually put it out there. And here we go. I can share the screen actually, so we can have a look-see together, can't we? And it's from the wonderful British Bullshit Corporation, of course. Look at this. Slovenia has become the first EU member state to implement fuel rationing. Under the new measures, private motorists in Slovenia will be restricted to a maximum purchase of 50 litres of fuel per day. Businesses and farmers have a more generous allowance of 200 litres a day. Over in Hungary, which operates petrol stations across the region, has already imposed a 30-litre limit. So you are already starting to see some basic starter flags that are popping up in Europe especially, but we are thinking of this globally. Vietnam, Thailand, this is Australia. It's crazy what's actually going on. I'll tell you what we could do. We could have a quick look-see at what was put out on the mail. So I know not everyone reads this sort of stuff, but this is being put out there. So we need to have a talk about it. We don't have to believe every single word it says. So let me just check. Sweet. Hello. Sweet, you can see everything. Brilliant. Okay, so look at this. Get ready for lockdown 2.0. So they started running this yesterday. Okay, now how many people, put their hands up if you've heard of the International Energy Agency, the IEA? It's another one of those unelected official global international bodies who are just barking orders at everyone, and lots of governments are saying yes, okay, yep, no problem. So this agency has a lawful lot of clout. They seriously have. So I'm not sure if it's in this one. I don't think it is, because what we're going to do, we are going to go straight to the horse's mouth. Okay, so we're going to source for our intel. So remember this, the International Energy Agency, the IEA. Excuse me. So let's hop on and see what they've got to say, rather than get it filtered through mainstream BS. Right. This is quite interesting, people. This is going to give us all a massive heads up. So the new report highlights options to ease oil price pressures on consumers in response to the Middle East supply disruptions. Now, we're going to go through these. It's very, very interesting, okay? And it's going to give us a heads up, because as our wonderful prepping community, we need to keep one step ahead of the unaware preppers and the sheeple out there. Okay, so the conflict has triggered the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. This isn't no poppycock statement. I'll read it again. The conflict has triggered the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market. Right? Very, very insane statement. So this is the 10 steps which this very, very powerful organization is passing on to all governments around the world. Every government on the planet has had this intel drop on their inbox. So IA, immediate actions to reduce demand. Number 1, work from home where possible. Straight away, we're already reminiscing about what happened in 2020. How many people watching now was asked to work from home? That's great. Not everyone can work from home, can they? What about plumbers? What about all the tradesmen? They can't work from home, can they? So, displaces oil use from commuting, particularly where jobs are suitable for remote work. Number 2, reduce highway speed limits by at least 10 kilometers an hour. Lower speeds reduce fuel use for passenger cars, vans, and trucks. So most of us are already aware that it started here in the Stasi of Wales, that we had the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, which is an absolute joke. Most people don't adhere to them. It's just ridiculous, to be fair. And it's worse for the environment driving at that speed in certain gears. It's horrendous. So again, they are asking us to drive slower. And look at this, encourage public transport. Wow. A shift from private cars to buses, which mostly run on diesel, and trains run on diesel and electric, can quickly reduce oil demand. I'm not sure how many buses are fully electric now. Whether they're hybrid, I really don't know. I haven't used public transport for at least 5 years or so. Alternative private car access to roads in large cities on different days. Look at this. Number plate rotation schemes can reduce congestion and fuel-intensive driving. Number plate rotation schemes. So basically what that means is you're going to have odd numbers and even numbers. Odd numbers can drive on these days, even numbers can drive on those days. What an absolute BS idea that is. How the hell is that going to work? And how is it going to be enforced? Now we're going to get onto enforcement in a bit. So we read on. Number 5, increase car sharing and adopt efficient driving practices. So if you go to work and you're on your own in your car, they're going to want you to go and pick up work colleagues, etc. So it's going to take longer to drive to work. Whether work colleagues are going to chip in for the fuel, who knows? It's getting really, really nanny state control now. No one likes to be micromanaged, do they? Really? But that's what they are absolutely trying to do. More control, less freedom, more governmental bodies and micromanaging. So better driving practices, vehicle maintenance and load optimization can cut diesel use. So basically what that's saying is make sure your vehicle is fully maintained. It doesn't matter how much money you've got, you still got to maintain your vehicle, and load optimization. So don't carry too much weight. Okay. So start stripping weight out of your vehicles. That's what they want to do. So if you drive a vehicle and it's heavy, they are going to hate you for that one. Number 7, divert LPG use from transport. Shifting biofuel and converted vehicles from LPG to gasoline can prevent LPG for cooking, preserve LPG for cooking and other essential needs. So we're talking energy across the planet is now going to massively change. And yes, we are talking about Agenda 2030, 100%. So the end of all fossil fuels by 2030. Number 8, avoid air travel where alternative options exist. Reducing business flights can quickly ease pressure on jet fuel markets. So is that going to stop all the millionaires and the billionaires hobnobbing around the planet every single day on their little private jets? No, they are going to be fine. We've already been seeing on social media, I don't know if you have, but all of the queues at airports all over the world has been horrendous. So if any of you guys have already booked to go abroad on holiday this year, I feel your pain. That's going to be a nightmare. There's a high chance you might not go with what's going to be announced very shortly. Number 9, where possible, switch to other modern cooking solutions, encouraging electric cooking, which can be operated, monitored, and stopped via a smart meter. So that's complete control. Cooking and other modern options can reduce reliance on liquid petroleum gas, LPG. And lastly, number 10, leverage flexibility with petrochemical feedstocks and implement short-term efficiency and maintenance measures. Basically, industry can help free up liquid petroleum gas for essential uses while reducing oil consumption through quick operational improvements. So that's basically the 10 commandments by the IEA, and anyone is free to go onto this website and check it for themselves. You basically go to iea.org, go on there, hit the news tab, which is there, and it will pull it up. It's just insane what is coming down the pipe. So I mentioned Agenda 2030, and we've been talking about it on this channel for many years now. So lots of people understood it, realized it, maybe thought that they're not going to get away with that. But guess what? It's happening. The Great Reset has begun. It really has. And I'm going to show you something very, very interesting. I had to dig deep through this. I had to find it on the Internet Archives because they keep trying to hide it. So I'm going to share this with you so you guys can be brought up to speed of an overview of the plan. Okay, so REP absolute zero. Are you ready for this? I might have to show the full screen if I can. Let me just go on to that, because I know not many of you guys will be able to see it. So, oh, that's typical. I had this all set up earlier. Now it's all gone to pot. So let's move it over here a bit so we can see it. We're going to zoom in as much as we can. That looks about right. So here we go. The goal from 2020 to 2029, and we're in 2026. We're over halfway through this time period. I'm going to read out if you guys can't see it. Okay, so we're going to start off with his, and we're going to go down this list. This is what the Great Reset grand checklist is, and they are doing it. Whether we want it, like it, agree with it or not, they are doing it. Road vehicles from 2020 to 2029. Development of petrol and diesel engines ends. So no more petrol and diesel engines will be built. It's going to end. Any new vehicle introduced from now on must be compatible with absolute zero, basically an EV. Okay. Rail. Growth in domestic and international rail as substitute for flights and low occupancy car travel. So if you wanted to drive around in a car with you and your girlfriend, you and your husband, or you and your son, no, they don't want you doing that. They want you to use rail. Okay, that's probably why some of you guys have been noticing, and I've noticed here in Wales, they are reintroducing rail, where they dismantled the rail network basically in Wales a few years back. Now they are starting it up again. Basically, the scariest thing is they don't want anyone driving a private vehicle which uses petrol or diesel over the next few years. And they are going to do every single thing they can to make sure people are not driving private vehicles, which is powered by gas or diesel. They are going to make it very, very difficult, very expensive. Okay. Flying. All airports except Heathrow, Glasgow and Belfast close with transfers by rail. Now, shipping. Look at this. There are currently no freight ships operating without emissions, so shipping must contract. Yes. Most people know, well, I hope you know, that lots of the big heavy tankers which move goods, services, nitrates and fuel around the planet all use heavy crude oil, okay, almost like a big, thick, sludgy jelly. And it heats up to a certain temperature, and that burns and powers all of the shipping. They want an end to that. So how they are going to move around stuff around the planet without that fuel is beyond me. Heating, outsource, I think it's, what's it called? I forget what it's called, but anyway, electric heat pumps replace gas boilers. So if you've got gas central heating, that's going to have to go. Building retrofits, air tightness, insulation, and external shading expand rapidly. So they want an end to central heating. Gas cookers phased out rapidly in favor of electric hobs and ovens. Fridge, freezers, and washing machines become smaller. Wow. So some of you guys went out and bought those great big American fridges. They're going to want you to have a smaller one. Food. National consumption of beef and lamb drops by 50% this decade, along with reduction in frozen ready meals and air freighted food imports. Do you want me to say that again? That is scary. So between 2020 and 2029, the national consumption of beef and lamb drops by 50%. We've already seen prices of beef and beef mince go through the roof already. And they are going to keep pushing those prices up so no one can afford it, and then no one's going to be eating it. Okay? If you want to, there's a link below where you can get freeze-dried beef, very affordable prices, handmade in BRECON. So check out the link below and you will see that down there. Mining material sourcing. Here we go. Reduced demand for iron, ore, and limestone as blast furnace iron and cement reduces. Increased demand for materials for electrification. Unbelievable. They are 100% getting away with this. Materials production. Steel recycling grows with cement and blast furnace iron. Reduce some plastics with process emissions reduce. Electricity. Look at this. Wind and solar supplies grow as rapidly as possible. That is a big mistake. With associated storage and distribution, rapid expansion in electrification of end users. Fossil fuels, there we go. Rapid reduction in supply, which is what we're seeing right now, and the use of fossil fuels except for oil for plastic production. So that is archive.org, and that is REP absolute zero. REP absolute zero. And you will find that on the Archive Wayback Machine website, where everything is hidden, but it's still there if you know where to look. So we're going to go quickly to Australia, because Australia is really being hit hard right now. And this is a global thing, because this is the Great Reset. It's not just the UK. This is all around the planet. And it's not the West. It's globally. Okay. So we're going to have a quick look at some panic buying, what we've been seeing in Down Under.
If you're noticing your local supermarket shelves are starting to look a little bare, well, you're not alone. Bottled water, toilet paper and pasta shelves are running low across our state, including here in Midland. Coles and Woolworths say rail disruptions due to flooding in Central Australia are to blame, with supplies cut off. But with the price of petrol increasing, there are concerns consumers will soon cop it at the checkout. The advice: don't panic buy.
But people feel like it's the preppers, you know, kind of, they feel like they need to stockpile in case something runs out.
In a way, it makes me feel scared because everything's really uncertain, and I've just realized with the war, everything can change in a few days. I still can afford it, to be honest, but it makes me feel stressed because I still have other bills to pay. I think, yeah, there are people who are panic buying. It's my first time to see the pastas not there anymore.
Not at all. No, there was no panic buying at all today whatsoever. It is usual for me, yes. So I've just bought a little bit extra because I can't really go anywhere. So I bought extra, so then it's stocked.
Oh, not really. Woolies was quite empty actually, and there was a person sculling a whole litre of custard straight out the bottle. I just thought it was quite funny. Yeah, that was very entertaining.
How crazy is that? So that's what's going on in Australia. And I bet you any money we've got people in the live chat right now over in Australia. If you're watching from Australia, say hi. And yeah, they haven't got much in supplies of fuel, basically. They are really going to struggle. But the thing is, who remembered that woman saying in that little video then, saying it's the preppers, they're just grabbing everything. But the thing is, this is the BS which the mainstream media push on people. Now, some of you, not many of you watching now, when I started this in 2012, I made videos back then in that year. And what I do and what I actively encourage every viewer to do as well is when you do your weekly shop, personally, I used to do it on a Sunday, waiting for the doors to open so you can get in there, get out as fast as you can, and you basically set aside £5, maybe more these days, because this was 2012 and £5 won't buy you as much, maybe £10, I don't know. Set that aside just for preps, okay? Only buy preps. So what do I mean about preps? Tinned food, packet food, stuff that's going to last a long time, okay? And it's not going to go off. It doesn't need to go in the fridge or the freezer, all right? So those are the foods that you need to get. Only get foods that you like. If you've not tried any of tin foods before, lots of people don't have tin foods, and I understand. So basically, if you're new to buying tinned meat, etc., just buy one tin, okay? Most of us have like stuff like beans and things like that. So if you know what you like, get those, okay? But only get them, you don't have to, but it's helpful to get them when they're on offer, when they're reduced, okay? When there's buy 4 for the price of 3, for example, things like that. Makes your money go a bit further. And I would just do that once a week. And okay, it doesn't take long. Over a 6-month period of spending £5 a week on tin food, you've already got loads of food already. And I've just kept doing it. And once you've got like 6 months or a year's worth of food, you can start using up the tins and the packets which you brought earlier on, which will have a shorter shelf life by that time, okay? And you just rotate it. So that puts you in a position where you don't have to worry, because that woman blaming preppers for going out hoarding everything was absolute BS, because preppers don't do that. And I've been saying for years, the last thing anyone wants to do is to go out and panic buy and fill up a whole trolley full of tinned food, okay? If you see that happening, it's either one of two things. It's either someone's being really kind and buying lots of stuff for a food bank, or they're a complete idiot. So that's my advice, and that sort of thing is 100% going down. $3.30 a litre of diesel. Struth, dude. That's a lot, dude. That's not good. That ain't good at all. Really isn't. Right. This was an interesting article, which I managed to find earlier. Been doing a bit of research on this today, guys, so hold tight. So look at this. UK fuel rationing could hit 5 cities the hardest as Iran war fallout continues. So we just go through the blurb. We've already highlighted it. There we go. The city that could be hit the hardest is Southampton, with an average commuting distance of 20 miles. This is closely followed by Bradford and then Glasgow. So these cities are going to be hit the hardest according to the data which is coming out. Other cities are Cambridge and Brighton as well. There's also reports of self-rationing due to shortages within weeks. This is 100% coming, people, okay? And I know there's people out there who are going to say, oh, nothing's going to happen. It won't be that bad. It's all fear porn and scaremongering and clickbait. Well, if you want to believe that and come back in 4 weeks from now and tell me I made all of this up and I'm doing it for views, it's absolute bullshit. I'm trying to help as many people as I can, because I'm doing this for a full-time job and I've got the time to do research compared to someone who works full-time who hasn't got the time to do the research. I'm pulling all this together to give you guys a heads up because we are a preparedness community. So when we talk about basically the lockdown, okay, so limitation of movements via vehicles or transport. So what we're talking about, we're talking about air, land and sea. So land, most common, is going to be vehicles. So we're talking cars, vans, lorries, buses, pickup trucks, all of that. 100% going to be affected, and rail too. So the amount of things that are changing is just off the charts, and they are really going to clamp down on anyone who's going to try and negate around the system. Seriously, honestly, I don't even know if I can go through all of this information. There's a lot. I'm going to try and skim through it. Okay. Apparently, diesel on ships and barges are not allowed to unload their fuel at ports over Europe. This particular incident was in Holland. Okay, so the ships are being denied access to unload the fuel. I've already heard the story that BP is only supplying 50% of what they would normally supply to petrol stations around the UK. So basically, as soon as you hear that, there are going to be problems at the pumps. There 100% will. And it starts off with the prices going up. Then it's going to be rationing. We've all had this a few years back. Who remembers? 100% it happened, right? So you are going to have limits on fuel. Now, the government are already saying, I found the report earlier, I think it's £30, which they're considering right now. So no more than £30 per vehicle is going to have fuel. Okay, it will automatically cap. So if you're going to fill up and it's going to last you a whole week to get to and from work, you might have to fill up 2 times, 3 times that week rather than once. Okay, and some people have to drive quite a distance to get to a petrol station, so that's already going to hit us in the pocket. Okay, and some places aren't going to have fuel at all. They're going to be shut. Already, Mark Ninja Man, there he is. He was showing me a video of all of the diesel was off at a certain petrol station. Now, how many of you guys have seen diesel just not available? Diesel is the most important fuel. Forget petrol, right? Petrol is just crap. Diesel is where it's at. Without diesel, the whole world stops. Everything is run by diesel. All of your marine diesel, all of your lorries, okay? Lots of the trains, lots of vans and stuff that transport goods around the UK and around the world is all diesel. You're never going to get a frigging petrol lorry. You're never going to get a petrol truck or a van. They're all diesel. And that's where they're kicking in the nuts first. You already see it. I mean, Mark Ninja Man will tell you, he went to a few petrol stations, all of the diesel, every single pump was, nope, not available. So the weird thing was what happened in Australia. All of the mainstream media broke the story recently within the last 10 days or so, saying that there's going to be massive fuel shortages. We haven't got enough. People need to get wherever they can. So what did that do? It started panic buying. And guess what? The mainstream media started to bloody put out there. The reason why there's not much fuel is because lots of people are panic buying. And they're the ones who told them to go out and buy in the first place. So problem, reaction, solution, straight away. They create a problem. They know what the reaction is going to be. Oh, Christ, let's go and get some fuel. And then the solution. That's it. You can't get no more. So, yeah, absolutely insane. This is 100% staged, planned, and organized. And it's being done perfectly. Okay. The fuel supply in Hungary, only national number plates can get fuel from petrol stations. So if you're driving across Europe and you go through Hungary and your vehicle hasn't got a Hungarian plate, you will not be able to get fuel at petrol stations. Yeah, they are literally prioritizing citizens first rather than foreigners. Okay, it's their countries, their rules. It is what it is. Slovakia, higher prices for foreigners. So So again, it's exactly the same sort of thing. Instead of saying, no, you're not filling up here, you can fill up here, but because you haven't got a Slovakian plate, you're going to pay 20-30% more. Okay. So this is absolutely going on. If you don't believe me, right, go and have a look. I could fill up loads of screen pages, but we'd be here for 4 hours, and it's just not good. So another thing as well, Port Arthur in Texas, that oil refinery, that's gone up. That was producing like 500,000 barrels a day. So isn't it a bit weird? Isn't it a bit of a coincidence that all of this war, or sorry, this conflict, it's not a war yet, this conflict in Iran has started. So the Iranians are bombing as many oil producing plants all the way around the Middle East, where most of the world's oil comes from. And it's a bit weird that America went into Venezuela before they went into Iran, because they have ramped up production in Venezuela under American control, getting millions and millions of barrels of oil out of that place now. So 100%, this is all like planned. This is not an organic way of seeing things. This is 100% played out, planned, staged. Even Trump does what he's told. He has got his part to play in all of this. And if you think Trump is against the deep state, no, he's a very, very good actor. He's all part of it. He's just doing as he's told. And it's all working out fine, because everyone wants to blame a nationalist leader for doing this. Yeah, and Trump's a nationalist because a patriot, isn't he? So they're 100% going to say to him, we can't have any more nationalists, any patriots like running countries anymore. So basically, they want the whole world to be run just like the left did. So whatever Joe Potato Biden done, they want that as a blueprint globally. Global governance, they call it. But that's a whole new live stream. Okay, I'm just filling in the blanks here. So we got problems with fuel going across in Portugal, Denmark, and also what the UK wants to do is lower speed limits, like I said already. Okay, and another weird thing which was absolutely bonkers is the government, I think it's the Ed Miliband Pratt, has said that he wants pubs to turn off their fridges overnight to save energy. Really? Okay. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. In fact, from what I remember correctly, is the UK, even if it had coal-fired power stations, everyone was driving diesel pickup trucks. Even if that was happening and we didn't have any solar panels, any electric cars, so basically fossil fuels, even if the UK was full tilt on that, that produces less than 1% of the global emissions. So asking pubs to turn their fridges off at night is complete BS. I nearly swore then, it really winds me up. It's complete BS. So I did hear that they are going to introduce a $40 cap per vehicle in Oz, in Australia. So you could be getting that. If you haven't seen it already, that could be coming down the pipe soon. But 100%, this is heading for a frigging lockdown. They don't want people moving around. What about fishing? The fishing industry has been absolutely smashed. You are going to see fish and chip shops close. Fish availability at supermarkets get very, very scarce from now on. And I'll tell you why. When the guys and girls go out fishing, they use marine diesel. Okay. Already, that has been heavily rationed, especially in Ireland. In Ireland, you ask the fishermen in Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, it's just insane. And they are going to roll it out around the world. They're using Ireland as a bit of a blueprint to see how that goes, but they are rationing marine diesel for fishermen. So they can't go out for as long as they want to. Obviously, the yields they're going to get is going to be a lot less. 100% happening. Not only that, Thailand, guess what, has told Thailand government, should I say, the Thailand government has told its citizens to start growing food. So if that isn't a message to everyone on the planet, I don't know what is. Because when fuel availability is scarce, and it is, we haven't seen nothing yet, but food is going to be scarce as well. If you are not prepping and stocking food, you seriously need to get your skates on, okay? Because I guarantee you 6 months from now, you go to your supermarket and look at the amount of availability on the shelves. We are going to get used to seeing big gaps on shelves on a regular basis. And we are going to see the prices of whatever's there very expensive. At the moment, food is relatively easy to get in any UK supermarkets, especially medium term. So tins and packet food, like I said earlier. At the moment, there not seem to be a problem with those, but there will be. And when it is, it's going to be harder to get and it's going to be more expensive. You need to get it as soon as you can. And if you're struggling financially, just get a little bit at a time. Well, John, thank you, mate. Someone's just gifted 5 memberships. So the people to comment straight away after this will be given 1 month's free membership. Thank you, John. Really appreciate that. And shout out to all the current members as well. Thanks for your support. Really appreciate that. So the weird thing is we need to have a look at the World Economic Forum, digital technology for agriculture. Okay. That was a management paper that was written last year in 2025. If you want, I can do a live stream just on that, because the WEF basically want to oversee all agriculture via smart electronic systems, scanning, traceability, accountability, modifications genetically. It's hideous. It's by far from organic and natural. It's really bad. But that is the World Economic Forum. And who's heard of Climate Trace? What I can do, if I can put it in, I can share you guys. Yeah, here we go. Quite a scary thing. But I've already spoken about this ages ago. Bloody hell, talk about overseeing every single bloody thing. Right, it's just waiting to load. I've got to show you this. You won't believe it. Who remembers when I showed that video of that guy at the World Economic Forum? And it's saying something like a private digital carbon footprint tracker. This is basically off the charts. Right, we're just waiting for that to load up. Okay, so whilst it's loading up, I've got to share the screen with you in a minute. That's bonkers, that thing is. It seriously is. And that was had some input from Al Gore. Who remembers Al Gore, The Inconvenient Truth? This is all part of the plan. All the multi-millionaires and billionaires are already funding all of this drive. Okay, so what we're going to do you want to get your mind blown? They've done it already, right? This is Climate Trace. So when we look at this here, let me see if you guys can see it. Yeah, cool. I'm going to whack it on full screen. There you go. It's a lot easier for you people to see. This is what the concern is. Okay, so let's have a look to the UK. I don't know. Oh, we can zoom in. It's very, very slow. But when you go in, it basically analyzes the carbon footprint of any given area. As you can see, Wales is pretty good. So I was from Portsmouth. So let's have a little mooch down in Portsmouth and see what's going on down there. I don't know how far we can zoom in. But yeah, this is all of the analytic data that is being collated. So I got a feeling that one of these days, the masses are going to wake up to what's going on. And from what I understand, these are probably those little caged sensors and boxes that you see in city centres that monitor pollution. If they get taken out and destroyed, they wouldn't be able to run this. Yeah, look at this. Portsmouth, wow, 202,000.7 thousand tons of CO2. Bloody hell. So that's basically what they're trying to do. Every single thing that produces carbon is very, very bad, and it's going to kill the planet. And they've produced this model What does America produce? Probably quite a lot. Wow, you can tell where the pollution is by the spikes. South America. What about China? Wow, China. There you go. There's no hiding from that, is there? Look at all of this. Wow. Insane. Anyway, let's come out of that. That's basically climatetrace.org. And it's all part of the agenda for monitoring CO2 and reducing carbon footprint. Okay. So back in the 15th of March, so 10 days ago, Sri Lanka are introducing a QR code so they can ration fuel for 15 litres a week. I'm going to repeat that. In Sri Lanka, they have introduced a QR code systems scanned by smartphones because they are rationing fuel to 15 litres per person per week. That's going on in Sri Lanka 10 days ago. Okay. Mexico, food and fuel, they are going to be trying their best to roll out digital ID because they want to make sure that when people get fuel, they want to go cashless. But the problem is, I don't know if you're aware, but 80% of all transactions in Mexico are cash. That is going to be a real tough cookie to break. So good luck, whoever's going to try and enforce shit onto Canada. In fact, Santos Bonacci is out in Canada, so he already saw this coming. That's where he's living right now. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Most of you probably don't. Santos, shout out. What a legend. So, what else we got? Bangladesh as well. Fuel rationing and food as well is being rationed at the moment. Vietnam is trying to do bioethanol, so that's E10 petrol. So that's going to be problematic for a lot of vehicles. Thailand basically has 90 days of fuel left. 90 days, that's 3 months. So they are going to be trying to implement or enforce air conditioning systems out there. And I think the minimum temperature you can run an aircon unit in Thailand is 27 degrees Celsius. So if anyone is caught having their aircon less than 27 degrees Celsius, you are going to get fined. And they are going to come around door to door and they will check. This is 100% going on. And if people can't wake up and see this, this is 100% the Great Reset. This is what they've been talking about. And, you know, Trump's going to be blamed for going into Iran and doing what he's doing, but he's just following orders. It's all part of the World Economic Forum, the UN, moreover the UN, I'd say. But the weird thing is I can see that how are people going to be monitored if they are driving in certain areas at certain times on certain days and they're going to get fined? Let me tell you this, the only way that they are going to actually enforce that is through the camera network all over the UK. There is nowhere near enough police to be constantly driving around the roads, doing checkpoints, monitoring number plates and pulling people over and arresting people and giving them fines. The police have got so much important things to do, like arresting people for social media posts. That's way more important. So the only way that people are going to be found out if they are driving on a day where they're not allowed to drive is through cameras. So let me just try and show. Right, here we go. I pulled up this fun fact. All right. So yeah, the only way that you're going to be fined if you're driving on a day where you're not allowed to, or, you know, we noticed that your vehicle had this amount of fuel. We've been monitoring your vehicle by our camera networks and you should have run out of fuel, but you haven't. Where'd you get that fuel from? All of this is just dystopian craziness. All right. So I want you to read this with me. Look at this. I've just typed into a basic search, how the UK roads are monitored by cameras, ANPR. Okay. Automatic number plate recognition, ANPR. Look at this. 11,000 automatic number plate recognition cameras are all over the UK. 11,000. Well, if that's from police data, it's probably a lot more than that. Okay. Unless you're going to be a weird train spotter guy who's going to go around every single road in the whole country and count them for themselves. But we're being told it's roughly 11,000. Okay. Now, generating over 50 million records daily. 50 million records every single day. These cameras get. Unbelievable. To track vehicle movements, enforce speed limits, and detect crime. Oh, so they're for our safety. These cameras read number plates in real time, comparing them against databases like the PNC, which is the Police National Computer, to identify stolen vehicles, uninsured drivers, or suspects. Okay, so if your car hasn't got a valid MOT, it's not taxed, it's not insured, you're speeding, you're drink driving, or whatever it is, or the car's stolen, they are going to be pinged. Okay, so the technology, the cameras use infrared lighting to read number plates 24/7 in all weather. The brand new 4D AI cameras, which I've seen in Gloucestershire, those big yellow things, brand new. These are them ones I talked about 6 months ago on the live stream. 4-dimensional AI cameras can also detect mobile phone use or seatbelt violations. Wow. A seatbelt violation, in my opinion, a seatbelt's in a car. It's up to the driver whether they want to wear it or not. That's my own belief. Okay. It's just insane. So basically, with that being said, I really can see this affecting so many people who just want to drive around in the UK. But we are going to be told we can't. We got to work from home. So anyone who works who can't work from home, they're going to be out of a job, because this isn't going to be for a couple of weeks. Who remembers Flatten the Curve in 2020? That lasted 2 frigging years. And when you look at the damage that's been caused in the Middle East from these oil plants, it takes years, it takes 15, 20 years to build one of those, completely destroyed. So there's no longer producing oil. Okay, the world at the moment, and has done for a long, long time, has run perfectly fine on oil. Okay, and I used to know someone, he's dead now, bless him, Ian R. Crane. He used to work in the oil industry, and he told me, and I couldn't believe this, is when they find an oil well and they drill it and they get the oil out of it, when it's all gone, come back in 5 years, guess what? It's full up again. We are being told bullshit. We are being told that when that oil well is dry, that's it forever. That's bullshit. The earth constantly provides what we need. All of this climate change and all of this is all BS. It's all being created just to enforce a one world government, because they can't enforce the New World Order without it. And the more people become aware that all of this climate change and all of this CO2 and carbon is all completely bollocks, the better, because we need to get that message out there big time. Okay, a world without carbon is a world without bio life. That's it. If there's no carbon in the atmosphere, which is what they want by 2050, really ramping up from 2030, nothing will be able to survive on this planet. No insects, no plants, no trees, no human beings, nothing. We need to have carbon. So if you've got a wood burner and you've got coal, burn the crap out of it, put it up into the air, because it's going to help. Okay, it's 100% going to help. So that's my 2 pence on that sort of thing. So we got more to cover. Pretty crazy what's going on. So I'm going to go out on a prediction here. You know, we've been seeing the Blade Runners in London who are just cutting down and destroying the ULEZ cameras, because the majority of people who live or travel into London are absolutely opposed to this scam, and they're blaming this BS climate change agenda so they can get money out of people. And that is all it ever was, and that's all it is. Lots of people know this, and that's why they're cutting them down, because people don't want to pay £18 a day, whatever it is, probably gone up. Anyone who's in London, how much is it to drive a bog standard vehicle which isn't ULEZ compliant? How much a day does it cost? And it's going to range from a moped, a motorbike, a car, a pickup truck, a van, a lorry. They're all going to have their own price brackets, I would assume. So I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say, with all of these ANPR cameras all over the UK, I am 100% going to go out on a limb and say people are going to start smashing them up. I can absolutely see it. The Blade Runners in London, that movement is going to grow, and people are going to be driving around. They're going to cut these things down, because people are going to have it up to here at some point with being micromanaged by this disgusting government of ours. Okay? It is disgusting what they're doing. The government has got no backbone. They're just following orders from the World Economic Forum. We have got the perfectly placed Prime Minister, who is the best yes man I've ever seen. He will say yes to anything. He's got no spine, no backbone. He's a coward. No one likes him. I don't even think he likes himself. I don't know how he sleeps at night. I think he's had a brain operation to remove his conscience, because he hasn't got one. He's a psychopath. He's an absolute psychopath. And he couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. He's not a man. It's just an embarrassment. So hopefully we can get that guy out ASAP, because he's just ruining his country. So yeah, I don't think there's enough police to, like I said earlier, to monitor all of these people who are going to be faced with fines because they're driving on the wrong day. They've got one person in the car and it's not allowed anymore. All of this is absolutely crazy. Another thing as well is lots of this information is going to be stored at AI data centers. Okay, because when you imagine 50 million captures on those cameras every single day, once that data has been captured, it's got to be stored somewhere. So they have to be stored at data centers, possibly AI data centers. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say people are going to start attacking those as well, because the only way that this control system is going to be successful is it keeps all of its cameras and data centers intact. If people start waking up and start taking action, taking out these cameras and these data centers, their whole plan stops. They won't be able to do it, which is one of the reasons why do you think they are heavily funding data centers in space? Elon Musk, Joe Bezos, anybody? 100%. If you build data centers and keep them up into space, no one can take them out. So they've already seen all of this coming, and that's what they're doing. They're already investing in it, and they're already starting to make it actually happen. So I think if it happens and you get AI data centers in space or low Earth orbit, perhaps, the only way you can stop them is supreme hacking to just shut it all off. So you're going to have teams of youngsters, already youngsters who are being born into this world are experts with tech. And you can literally see them hacking into these systems to shut them down. Because like I said, the only way that this global governance micromanagement bullshit tactic is going to be successful is if they've got all of the cameras and all of the data centers online. If these physical cameras and data centers start getting taken out, their whole plan falls. And let me tell you this, all of these protests and riots and petitions don't do jack squat. They absolutely don't do anything. And people are starting to realize this and starting to think, well, what can we actually do? It's a great question. Basically, don't comply. If you get a fine through the door because you drove on a Tuesday and you weren't allowed, but you had to, just burn it. Just get rid of it. Do not comply. You start complying with all of that. Wow. Not good, is it? Anyway, Who remembers the 3-day working week? This basically was 1973 in December, and it went through to March. Okay, so 3 days a week, right? No electricity. I remember it barely. Candles, the smell of paraffin. Any of the elders? Funky is a globe-tard. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not a globalist, if that's what you mean. No way. Don't be weird. But yeah, that was basically down to an oil embargo, and then we had all of the strikes and the pay rises that were wanted from the coal producers at the time. 3-day working week, we could absolutely have that. Okay, the government could literally turn around and say, to save energy, all of you guys have literally got to have no electricity for 3 days a week. That's it. Right. The weird thing was, at that time, all TVs had to be turned off at 10:30 at night, and there was no street lights. That actually happened in 1973. And if our elders in the house remember that, globetard is someone who believes the earth is round. I couldn't give a shit if it's round, flat, or square. No one can prove it. I ain't wasting my time on that nonsense. I've got far more important things to look into than argue with some idiot whether he thinks the earth's flat or round. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Okay, you're wasting your time there. And another thing as well, the government, I think it was that Rachel Reeves is trying to think of the idea of pay per mile road tax. So if you drive a lot of miles in the UK, you are going to pay an absolute fortune in road tax. And they're also thinking of rolling out ULEZ, yeah, nationwide. So what we're seeing in London, with you got to pay X amount a day of your vehicle, even if you've got an electric vehicle now and you go into a ULEZ zone, you only get 25% off where you did get it for free. So basically, lots of idiots got scammed, and all the idiots fell for it, didn't they? If you own an electric car, I'm sorry to say, you're a frigging idiot. They pushed the idea that if you get an electric car and you drive in a city, you're going to have to pay hardly any tax. You won't have to pay any ULEZ. Oh, that's a good idea. The government's trying to help. That's a great idea. I'm going to get a brand new electric car, which is crap when it's cold. Batteries don't like cold. It's crap when it gets wet and you drive through some flood water. Yeah. Over time, you're going to have to spend more time charging a battery than it's actually going to be driving for. And to top all that, now they've got to pay like everyone else. So all these idiots who bought an EV fell for that trap. And guess what? Good luck selling your EV as well. The second-hand car market for EVs is basically non-existent. Doesn't exist. Another thing as well is new things coming out. I don't know if you're aware, but this come out in January, not long ago, the 9th of January to be precise. MOT enforcement. Okay, so there's been lots of new rules handed to the test centers, the MOT stations. Okay, and they have made it very, very difficult for those guys to operate. Very expensive, lots of new rules and regulations, etc. And basically, what we're going to see is we're going to see longer waiting times for an MOT. So if your car is up for an MOT in like 4 weeks' time, okay, and if you phone the garage that you want to get it MOT'd, you might have a big problem trying to get it done within a month, because there is a distinct lack from the Gen Z lot. Again, it's the under 40s who are a nightmare. They just don't want to work. There's hardly any young MOT testers out there now. They're all guys like myself, 50 and over. Yeah, you got some of the young mechanics in there, but they don't own and run the test centers. And the problem is they're making it harder and harder and harder for anyone in the UK to privately own a vehicle. When you boil away the piss, that's what the essence is. They are going to make it harder. They are going to make it more expensive to drive your vehicle, more expensive car insurance, more expensive tax. The MOTs are going to be more expensive, and they're going to be looking at a lot more things to fail your car on. The waiting times to get an MOT is going to be longer. So the fuel is going to be expensive and highly volatile at this moment in time. It's all over the place, the prices of fuel. And they are really, really pushing as many people as possible to go on public transport. So a little electric bus with all the weirdos set on there, going all the way to a train station where all these violent attacks have happened with knife attacks and stuff. So They don't want people to own a private car for themselves. They do not want it. If you're that guy, you are the Antichrist in their eyes. They don't want us driving our vehicles privately. They absolutely don't. And another thing as well is if you do have to get your car MOT'd, and it's going to be after when you need it done, okay, just be aware that there's ANPR cameras everywhere. So if your car's MOT'd, you're going to get pinged somewhere. Okay, another government proposal is if you're over 70, you have to have an eye test. That's probably common sense. Any people who've got dementia, they are no longer going to be allowed to drive a vehicle, to be on the safe side. If you like a drink, so you know you're working all week, you finish midday on a Friday, the sun's out, you go with your work colleagues, you have 1 pint before you drive home, that could be a nightmare. The legal limit for micrograms of alcohol in your breath for a long time, for at least 20 years, has been 35 milligrams of alcohol in your blood. Now they have just dropped it to 22. So you might find that if you have that 1 pint, you are going to be over the limit. Okay, so you're going to get points in your license, you're going to be fined, you're going to have to drive God knows how far to get a frigging driver's awareness test or something like that done. They might even ban you for 6 months or a couple of years. So basically they're making it very, 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 very hard for anyone to drive a vehicle in the UK. And it's mainly going to be targeted financially. So if you haven't got much money and you've got a car, you're going to have an absolute nightmare. If you're loaded, you're going to be okay. But nonetheless, there's going to come a point where you say to yourself, I can't afford £10,000 a year to insure my car. That could happen in a few years. This is looking so outrageous. They've literally pressed the fire button on this and they're making it difficult. It's almost like a lockdown where we're not going to be allowed to go anywhere. You're just not. We got to save oil. We got to save fuel. We got to save energy in every single way you can. And anyone seeing, you can imagine what it's like in 2020. People are going to grass people up. Oh my God, he's had his petrol generator on to keep warm or whatever. So I'm going to grass him up. And the police will be sent straight round. We've just had reports of you're using a generator. Did you know that you're not allowed to use the generator after the time of 3 o'clock in November or whatever crap these micromanaging arseholes are going to be putting out there? Okay. Total nightmare. And another thing, going back to the drink driving thing, if you have been caught for drink driving and you get told off, when you start driving again after your ban or whatever it is, these things are called alco locks, which means they wire it into your vehicle and you've got to breathe into it. And if it fails, the car will not start. That's a bit dystopian. Totally. Absolutely crazy. And I really feel for the youngsters who want to learn to drive. I mean, it takes a long time just to get a driving test. How many of you guys and girls who have got kids or even grandkids who want to start driving and they've been told, oh, because of 2020, there's a backlog? No way is that backlog going to last 6 years. That's bull crap. Total bull crap. But you got a wait list of about 6 months, maybe longer. I'm not joking. I am not joking. This isn't made up. God, I needed that. So yeah, in summary then, basically, the Great Reset has begun. It's totally begun. And the only way I can see this Great Reset not succeeding is the total destruction of all of the surveillance network physically. Yeah. All CCTV cameras in public on the roads, they're probably going to get smashed up, hacked, destroyed, cut down, set fire to, whatever. Data centers that were found to be storing all of our data of all of the stuff that we're doing, I can absolutely see them getting set on fire over time. I really, really can, because I can't see any other way that this is going to stop. I really can't. you know, because at the end of the day, you know, like I said, you can protest, you can like, it can turn into a riot, you can fill in all of these online petitions. I mean, who remembers that digital ID? I signed that one, and I very rarely sign petitions. And guess what? The very next day, after 3.6 million people signed that petition to say, no, we don't want a digital ID, the brick card, here in the UK. And the government basically said, tough, we're doing it anyway. What? Yeah, that's a fact. It's coming down the pipe, whether we like it or not. So people have to really start asking themselves these questions. When you wake up and you see all of this actually really happening, we've been talking about it for years, but now it's really happening. It's 100% happening right now. Okay. So my advice is to get as much fuel for your vehicle as you possibly can and store it safely. Get as much long-term food as you possibly can as soon as you can, and keep it in a cool, dark, dry place away from smells, light and damp. Get as much as you can. Okay, don't draw attention to yourself. Don't be that idiot to panic and get a trolley and fill it up. Just do a little bit at a time. Okay, or maybe just get, I don't know, 20 quid's worth of tins in one shop, go to another supermarket and do the same there, and do 3 or 4 supermarkets. Because let me tell you this, if you start going to supermarkets and filling up your entire trolley full of baked beans, 1, you're going to look an idiot. 2, it's going to be very, very heavy to push around. And 3, you might get a fight started in there. Who knows? So a little bit at a time, be sensible, be calm, don't panic, don't stress out, don't drama queen it. Just work behind the scenes like most of us preppers do anyway. Okay. And the most important thing you can do is to share this live stream. Click on a link, share it. It's all good. And if you are new, I've got to say this actually, because this has been becoming quite popular and I'm quite chuffed at this. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. A lot of people have subscribed recently. So hello, you guys who have finally found me and doing this stuff. If you're building your own emergency kit, I've created a free downloadable checklist. And what you need to do is go underneath this video and you'll see it. Click on that. You can download it for free and it will get you started. Because lots of new guys who come to the channel, what do I need to get? How much do I get? Where do I get it? How do I store it? They're all bona fide questions to someone who's never done this before. Of course, I had the same questions when I started 14 years ago, whenever it was. Okay. And most of us do. We all need a bit of help. And I thought, you know what? A lot of people are going to start waking up to this crap going on this year. Lots of people are going to come to the prepping community. So I thought, if I can do this for free to help as many people as I can, go and download it. It's entirely for free. Once you've got that checklist, you can start building up your supplies and you're not going to be caught out like the idiots. Okay, the idiots are going to be the people listening to government advice, and the government are going to say, oh, don't go out and panic buy, don't go out and stockpile fuel, you know, you need to make sure everyone can have their own. If you're going to listen to those idiots, right, because the same idiot said, if you've got to go out your house, you've got to wear a face mask on, otherwise you could kill granny. The same idiots. If you still want to carry on listening to advice from idiots like that, fine. There's nothing more I can do to help you. But if you can see the writing on the wall, like lots of us can now, that it's going to be very hard and very expensive to get fuel and to move around, go to work, go to pick your kids up from school or whatever it is, go and get shopping, it's going to be very, very difficult. So it makes absolute sense to get as much as you can put by so you can carry on driving, so you can carry on feeding your kids when all of the shelves are getting empty in Sainsbury's, Waitrose, Tesco's, M&S, etc. All right. So, and yeah, South Downs Prepper, be a grey man. Exactly. Don't stand out. Don't be a fool. Just go and do what you got to do and don't draw attention to yourself. If you're going to do something like that, just make it look like you're supposed to be doing it. Don't be looking around everywhere drawing attention. It's good advice. So, share the video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. It only takes a second. If you like more of this, hit subscribe, make sure you're notified, because if you're not notified, you will miss these live streams and you won't be in a chance. We've had nearly 1,000 people in here tonight. Thank you to everyone who's taken part in the stream. I really appreciate it. And if you can share this on WhatsApp and Facebook and all of the other platforms, I would really appreciate that. Seriously, that would really cheer me up more than anything, because you guys have been doing it and you know who you are. And thank you so much for continuing to share this content. Magnificent. So you guys take care. Thanks for watching. Stay.
I'd buy that for $1.